There we go. Alicia, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Jonathan.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining me. You've got a lot going on, and I'm anxious for people to hear your story and kind of take away some tidbits from you. But before we get into all of that, maybe you could share a little bit with us about maybe your background and what you love to do besides work on a startup.
Of course, right. So I'm originally from Colorado, and I've worked in a lot of very large companies. All had a similar theme. So anywhere from finance to healthcare, all of them were collecting a ton of data
Mm,
on not only their customers but on their marketing. And since my background, I'm a business major with a marketing minor,
okay.
and so I would help with both kind of on strategy and see kind of what was the best fit for our customers in this wide range of industries I've worked in. And they didn't really have a good grasp on how to actually use that information. So I would pull it out of the various systems that we collected, and I would put it into Excel and try to guess, what we were trying to do, and really formulate a good strategy. And I kind of struggle with that because I'm very much analytical. I
Mm,
want the numbers to actually tell me
sure.
what to do. And I've known my CSO, my chief science officer, a really long time. Also from Colorado. Went to school with my sister, and he's a PhD in nuclear physics. And he had was creating something to help him, this program. He fully understood how to take data and actually find out what are those key variables, what is important, and how to use those. And that's kind of when the light clicked. It's like
Right.
there has to be a business application for how can we then do this quickly.
Right.
If you kind of created a machine, how can we harness that power and take the academics into the, I call the real world of
Sure.
business, the
Yeah.
world of industry. How do we take it to actually help people like me who, really, you don't want to hire a bunch of people. You know the industry really well, but how do you take your industry knowledge and apply it to those numbers that you're getting out of it? And that's
Absolutely.
kind of where the idea was started.
So that's a great story. So most entrepreneurs that we talk to in interviews sort of do have that moment when they go, I've got my own pain point and boom, oh Lord, it hit me. It sort of makes sense that there's a business model here. And you sort of alluded to it, but I wonder if you could take it the story a few steps further. Most entrepreneurs remember the exact moment when that happened, where they were, what they were doing. Are you the same? Do you remember that exact moment you thought, okay, I've got something here. I'm not sure what I've got, but I've got something. I've got a pain point that I can solve.
Right. Well, it wasn't immediate light that what Mick had created was actually something that could help us. But over usually the ideas kind of hit best, over drinks.
As they
So
usually do. Best stories start with, so we were having a few drinks.
we're having. I'm trying to think. The business plan didn't really start to formulate with my knowledge of how industries work. Trying to say, well, what value are we providing? What will someone buy? What will they pay for? It's not a pet rock. You can't see it. You can't hold it.
Right.
How do you take data and make it into something tangible? So after I'd say probably multiple nights of trying, thinking how we could actually benefit from this. And honestly, the first instance was actually just throwing data at it, at our engine, what he'd created, and then we kind of helped to develop to refine what that process was, and seeing the results. So the first results that we had, it was actually with a mining company.
Hmm.
Being in Colorado, there's quite a few of those. So
Sure.
trying to see what the feasibility of that was, and seeing the results out of it were kind of like mind blowing. You have to look at it and say, "Wow, is that really what it came out with? That's really cool."
Right.
You think that machines can't think that way, but the fact that it was able to actually pull all the information incredibly fast,
Mm-hmm.
and then we were able to kind of take that output, that report, and bring it back to our friend who helped us to give us some data, and they actually used it for real purposes. So we're thinking that really has helped, and then throwing more information at it, putting marketing information, everything that's collected, on Facebook and Twitter and Google Analytics, throwing
Right.
more information out of it, seeing, is this really tangible? So you have that idea, and we had that moment, and then we said, well, it's working.
Right.
It's actually something that we can kind of build a business idea around. So we kind of most predictive machine learning companies, they already have I want to give the companies this value.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of worked backwards where we've created this machine and finding out how good it can handle certain business applications. So we worked backwards, and I think it's kind of made us a more stable technology because that was so heavily focused on the research. It was so robust. We're still finding things that it is incredibly good at.
That you maybe didn't plan on originally.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. We didn't plan on focusing in the marketing space, but we found that the engine just works so well with marketing content data, and there's so much of that out there.
Of course.
So we found that it's really good at taking not just from one source, but adding other variables like income and geography and customer information, and it can take all of that information and extrapolate and come up with insights.
Yeah. So when was the company founded?
So we incorporated 2016 in
Okay.
January.
So not too long ago.
We hit our first year mark. That's always exciting.
Yeah,
We made it.
absolutely. He survived. And company's name right now is Avrio Analytics. And essentially, maybe you could just break it down for people. You've got an analytic engine that you put data into and hoping it puts out results. Is there particular pieces of data that you tend to feed it? Or maybe you could cover that briefly.
Sure. Well, the main focus that we've been working on, like I said, is with marketing agencies. So companies that create digital content on websites and on other platforms. So we're able to work with all of the information. They're not really collecting a specific type of data, but they're collecting information on click-through rates,
Got it.
who the company target is, what their industry is in, all the information about what their clients are looking for. And the outputs, it kind of depends on what they're looking for. We are able to tailor it towards that business objective. So if you're trying to have a higher rate of outreach, we're able to tell you what you should be doing to get that ideal customer looking at that ad at the right time. So we were able to increase, so it's like customer engagements by 250 times for one of our clients. Are able to help them predict the timing of their ad placement. So
when best to post the ad? Is that on social media?
Correct.
Yeah.
Not only when, but where, and what geographical area. What is the best way to do that?
So let's go into a few of those. When you say where, is that determining which platform to go on between Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, that type thing?
Right. And it could also be a physical location too. So if you have a digital ad that's at a certain store or a certain location, it could also be digital but in a physical location.
Right, and it sounds like you got some use cases with some ROI, particularly you mentioned the 250 times return.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So it's one of those things that you look at and you just get really excited about, that the engine is able to come up with something that is so insightful and do it in a way that saves you not only in the man hours that it would take to kind of set that strategy, but to know the right strategy before you implement it.
Sure. And you mentioned, it sounded like you didn't, I don't want to say fell into, because it's probably not the right words, but it sounded like you didn't really originally see marketing as the channel to go. What's behind sort of that evolution? What occurred that made you realize it? Was it working with a particular client and saying, let's see if it can do it?
Yeah, in one of the amazing Tennessee accelerators we were in, one of our clients was in the marketing space, and it's one of those, hey, let's try it. We have this engine. Let's see what applications, and it worked. It's worked incredibly well on those results. So we've kind of found more clients that are in that same space, and just kind of been honing that package around it. And we actually have our first fully packaged separate product called Sybil.
Okay.
It's SIBYL.
Got it.
So and it works on the social media platform. So right now it's on Twitter, but we're working on building out the front end dashboard for all the other social media platforms. And it's kind of able to, so it uses sentiment analysis and machine learning to protect your brand.
Yeah.
make sure that if you have multiple products within your brand, you're able to search all of those on the site. So if a customer's unhappy or if they have questions, you can respond to those very quickly. We're able to show you with a sentiment behind it based off of a positive, neutral, or negative.
And is the sentiment just based on what the way they're phrasing a sentence or words they're using? Is that, without giving away the secret sauce, is that?
It actually does not use just keywords.
Okay.
It actually looks at the entire phrase. It's a part of the AI behind what our machine is able to do. It does content sentiment incredibly well. So you're also able to train it. So if you have certain industry nuances, like if it's common for we have one of our friends does a lot of drag racing, so they use certain industry terms that you can actually train it to say, oh, that's a positive term. If you say something's, peeling out, the engine might not quite know what that is, but you could say that's a cool thing.
Yeah, no, great example. Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
So you can train it. So that's part of the machine learning that's able to stay really on top of and react very quickly. Most people in the space, they're either doing it manually or they have set keywords, and keywords don't always work for media content. There's so much emotion behind, especially something like Twitter. You only get so many characters.
Right.
Sometimes it's hard to pick up things like sarcasm.
Sure. So let's talk about that for a minute. Is there a particular reason you started with the Twitter platform over others?
Right. So we actually had another one of our connections in Knoxville. He was doing a lot of social media stuff, and the main thing that he was working on was Twitter. And he really needed something that was a little bit. We actually tried to find him an out-of-the-box product already, and we couldn't find one that was really good enough for him to use that we would say that we would be able to recommend. So we were able to get information and data from Twitter, and we tested it out, and then we started to build the front end for it. So that's just a standalone product. You can sign up and buy, and you don't need anything else to plug into. It monitors directly from your own Twitter account, so you can retweet, you can reply, you can post directly from our dashboard.
Very cool. If we could, let's shift gears for just a few minutes, maybe talk about your personal entrepreneurial journey. Have you always sort of had dreams of doing your own thing, or maybe you could run us through that?
Yeah. So I had in high school, I actually always joined up for like FBLA and joined a lot of business classes.
Right.
I never thought I always wanted to own my own business, but I had no idea what that would be.
Sure.
My grandfather actually owned his own bakery in California. But when I knew him, he was always retired. So there really wasn't that learning or connection of how do you start your own business. And even going to business school, they kind of don't teach you, everything to expect and how difficult it is, and sometimes you don't know what to do. So I went to school to study business, and after that I got a job in industry, and I just thought that would be kind of it.
Yep.
This just came up, and I felt you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Good for you. Yeah, absolutely.
Might as well go for it and
see what you can do.
What happened?
Right. So it's a year down the road. How has it been?
It has been good. Like I said, there's always trial and error, but always trying to stay optimistic. It helps when you meet those clients that really get it, or the people that are also really excited about it. That kind of prove that validation that no, you're not crazy. This is something that people want. It's a hard concept to sell, and you got to find the right buyer. But it's a struggle, and it's fun. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, it goes both ways. What has been sort of the toughest part of the whole journey?
I think for us is that there's not there are people already in the space, but it's still a very new field. Predictive data analytics and machine learning. You kind of are bombarded with these buzzwords, even with Watson and kind of what they're doing. You kind of get overwhelmed by all of the hype. They don't really explain what is it that they're doing.
Right.
Is it valuable, or is it just like a rocket launcher?
So do you feel like you're spending a fair amount of time having to educate your target market on the necessity?
Right. We find that there is still a bit of educational component. What is nice about doing things like the road show that we did for Launch Tennessee and
Mm-hmm.
3686 is that I find that a lot of our current clients have actually came to us.
Mm.
They've reached out and said, "Hey, I know what you're doing. I've tried to find a solution. Can you help us?" And
Good place to be.
the best feeling.
Absolutely. What has that been the best part of the whole thing? Is just the validation of the idea that you're not, as you may have said earlier, kind of crazy.
Yes, and meeting, like I said, with those clients, and we have a really awesome mentor that he has even more amazing ideas to use our engine with. So the fact that they get it and they see such a big potential on it, it's just how do you swim in the stream without getting lost or confused on the right path. It's a difficult journey, but there's so many applications. Being focused and
Mm.
having a good team around you is really key, especially in a startup. You can't be good at everything,
Right.
but finding people who are better than you, that's normally what helps.
Such a great message, and I always like to say a great place to pause and make sure listeners kind of take that in is the idea of the team. Having been in the startup world for a long time, my audience will probably get tired of me saying this, but it is about the team. Doesn't matter how good the idea is, because if the team can't execute, doesn't matter at all. Speaking of team, I know you mentioned your CSO. How many on the team right now?
So I'm one of the co-founders, and then the other co-founder is Mick Bertoli, and
Okay.
then we have an awesome mentor, and then we have a couple salespeople that are in Nashville and Knoxville.
Okay, and then
we
you're
have developers too on the side that we kind of use as needed.
yeah, to do development and code and things like that. You mentioned a mentor. How did you meet your mentor?
I'm working for when we entered CodeWorks.
Okay.
Another great program through the KEC.
Right. So CodeWorks put on by Andrew May and his partner that sort of do the accelerator for coding and things like that. And for those who don't know, KEC is the Knoxville Entrepreneur Center.
Right.
Yeah.
There's more. All of our acronyms.
That's right. I'm with you. I'm totally with you. Yeah, and that goes back to the reason we're doing this is a lot of folks don't understand all the resources that are available in Knoxville and throughout Tennessee. You alluded to Launch Tennessee. You're in their, what's the name of their accelerator program that they're doing?
It's called the 10.
Mm.
It's TENN.
Mm-hmm.
Words for Tennessee.
Right.
And they're in, so this accelerator that we're actually still in, it's going to finish on, the finale is going to be March 28th.
Okay.
In Nashville. And there's 8 teams that are in this accelerator. And we just finished last week going on one of their events called the Road Show, where we visited multiple cities in Tennessee, and we all pitched our ideas to a bunch of investors and potential clients.
Was there a deliberate choice to do these accelerators as part of the business model on behalf of you and the team?
Yes, I think that I actually signed up for it knowing that there would be mentors or there'd be resources there that I could at least run an idea off of, and speaking with other startups is incredibly helpful to also kind of see where you are and what that struggle is. I know just finding even things like an accountant.
Right.
How do you? It's the simple everyday stuff of businesses that you don't normally have to think about.
It gives you those peers or mentors to go to and say, "I'm dealing with this. Surely you've dealt with it too. What are we? What are you doing about this? And therefore, what do I need to do about it?" And I think it also adds that aspect of community. And then you mentioned you all have an office nearby, but working from home right now, sometimes being isolated at home, even with a remote team, it can feel a little as if it's sort of you on your own. So,
right.
Yeah.
Right. And I have a really great team. We kind of all do our own thing, and we make sure to once a week we'll have updates and calls. We've been meeting more frequently just because we have a product launch for our Sybil.
The Sybil platform
right now.
Okay.
So, just making sure that everyone is kind of on the same page, and we all have the same goals. So it's all in the importance of picking not only good mentors but good teammates.
Good teammates. You mentioned the launch of the platform or the beta of the Sybil platform. What, if I could ask, what's sort of next for the company? What's in the next, say, 12 months for you?
Sure. So we're working on another packaged product that works with CRM data for our sales, our clients that are more in the sales space.
Okay.
When we've been working with clients that are working through that now. So hopefully that'll be out in the next couple months. We'll be able to beta that as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
Are you in fundraising mode yet, or just kind of doing the lean startup approach for now?
yeah, we've been pretty fortunate. We've bootstrapped everything so far.
Good.
So most of our revenue is able to cycle back in for either development costs or any other business costs that we see. We do, maybe in the future to kind of help our growth, we see definitely going out for funding. Maybe in the future once we kind of pick up more steam on those packaged products.
Then you might think about it, but no need to get in a hurry until you need it, right?
Right. Well, I mean, finding that investor is kind of like finding the right teammates.
Absolutely.
They really are a part of that business structure, and making sure that your team is making sure that we're ready for that explosion of, okay, now you have the responsibility of, you have strict deadlines. They're going to look at all the returns, and you kind of give up a little bit of that freedom for the growth.
Right.
So making sure we're on the right path and on the right stage before we have funding.
So another great place to pause and make sure the listeners hear that message, because so many people that I've worked with in the past that are fundraising, they're always in that hurry to get to the capital, but they're not looking at it as a strategic move. It's not, yes, I understand the need for capital at certain points, but taking on an investor isn't just about that check that they might write you. It's about everything else that comes to the table. And so good for you to get that point across about they're being added to the team. And there are going to be some things that they add to the mix that may complicate things a little bit. And is it worth it in exchange for that capital and anything else they bring to the table, like contacts and experience? So great, awesome point. And probably a good place to segue and let you get on the road. So if anyone wanted to connect with you, where could they do that? Website, Twitter account, any of that?
Sure. So our website is Avrio, that's AVRIO, analytics.com.
Okay.
Our Twitter handle is Avrio Analytics.
Right.
Pretty
straightforward.
Yeah, so they can email me. So it's Alicia, ALICIA, @avrioanalytics.com.
Okay, very good. Well, listen, Alicia, we appreciate you coming on the show. Really good takeaways for folks, and I know will help some people quite a bit. So good luck to you all in everything you do, and hopefully we can get an update from you down the road.
Awesome, perfect. Thank you very much.
All right, have a good day.